Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. This is Teresa Harper, your independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in Oregon in the United States. So happy that you are joining me tonight. Hope everybody had a great weekend and is having a good week. So let's go ahead and see who's on. All right, and then we'll wait a minute or two and we'll get started. All right, so as a reminder, the Stamp and Die Bundle sale is still going for another, 5 days? You have until the 30th of June to take advantage of the extra 10% off the Stamp and Die bundles, as well as 10% off of the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine or either of the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machines. So that's just a reminder. And tonight, hello, Cynthia. So glad you could join me. Thank you. Tonight, we're going to be using Friends for Life. And I'm going to be making a card, and then I'm going to give you the choice of whether I make a second card or if I make a second my second project is a 3D project. I have both ready to go, so whatever you choose is what we'll do. Okay. Maybe wait. If you are new to my channel, go ahead and say hello. Tell me where you're watching from, and be sure to say hello so I know that you're here. And I will wait about 30 seconds more, and then I'm going to get started. I know you're not here to listen to me chit chat. You're here to watch a tutorial. So we are going to we're going to make this card tonight. So let's move the Friends for Life out. This is a photopolymer bundle, 14 photopolymer stamps. And then it also has these really neat dies, and there's 9 of those. It's pretty much an eclectic little bundle, but I did enjoy working with it. So let's set that aside and get started on what we need. Okay, so we've got, I'm using the Full of Life Designer Series paper. Now this Friends of Life is part of the Full of Life suite of products. And this is a sampling of the paper. I didn't get a full pack. You do get 48 6x6 sheets. I participated in a paper sampler and got a quarter pack, but at least I can show you what that paper looks like. Okay, let me see. There we go. And there we go. Okay, very colorful, bright paper, happy. Puts a smile on your face. We're going to be using a piece of this sheet tonight. And actually, we're only using a 1 by 6 inch strip off of here. And I've already cut that off, but this is the piece that I'm using. I did make a card in the same style using this piece, and I only cut an inch off of that to make that card. So this is a good card for using up scraps of paper. Okay, so we're going to start with a 5.5 by 8.5 sheet of basic black cardstock, and we're scoring that in the middle at 4 1/4, which of course I have already done. And then I'm just going to give that a good burnish. Okay. And then we've got a piece of white. And this piece is, this is 3 3/4 by 5. And we're just going to put that on there like that. And then I've got 2 more pieces of the black and white. So this piece is 3 1/2 by 4 3/4, and we're going to put it here. And then we've got a piece that is 3 1/2 or 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. We're going to start by working with this piece of paper, and we're going to set these aside. Okay. And then out of that 1-inch strip that I cut from that piece of designer series paper, I cut that into 6 1-inch pieces. Okay. So we have 1-inch squares, 1 inch by 1 inch. And we're going to start by arranging these. And we're going to put these like so. And I'm just going to look at this now to see how I want this to go. I think I'm going to put this one here. And I'll move that over. And then I'm going to turn this around the other direction. And then I'm going to put this one down here. And I'll put this one here. And that's how I'm going to have my squares. Now, I don't want to put those down yet because I am going to do some stamping and some embossing, and I want this to be clear for that. So we're going to take some ink, and we're going to take Shy Shamrock, Daffodil Delight, and Granny Apple Green. Okay. And let's start with the Daffodil Delight. And from the Friends of Life stamp set, we're going to take this paint image. It's just a little dot paint here, and I'm going to put this about right here. Okay. And then I'm going to need to clean that stamp. So I'm just going to leave my chamois. And then we're going to take Granny Apple Green. And we're just going to be cleaning in between here. So I'm going to flip my stamp 180 degrees. I had this pointy part here facing to the right. Now I'm going to face it to the left. And I'm going to overlap my Daffodil Delight just a bit. And then I'm going to clean my stamp again. And then I'm going to get my Shy Shamrock. And again, I'm going to flip that 180 degrees. Just so I am rotating. This one is a little too juicy for my liking. So I'm going to take a plastic spoon. And I'm just going to push that ink into my pad. And you can see the difference in the color there. Okay. And then I'm going to ink this up because I don't want it to be super juicy and have bunches of bubbles. I want a nice clean image. And that's how I'm going to get it. Okay. So we've got that. Now I'm going to go ahead and clean that off and get this out of the way. And believe it or not, we're getting close to having this card done. So we're going to take these pieces and set them aside. I'm just going to get those out of the way. And then I'm going to bring in my embossing buddy, my Embossing Additions toolkit. and my embossing buddy. This comes in your embossing additions toolkit. And I'm going to get that nice and dry and make sure that nothing sticks where I don't want it. And then I need that also in this top right corner here. Okay. And then we're going to be using the Wow black embossing powder today. So I'm going to bring in my embossing additions toolkit. I've got my tweezers, my powder. Okay, now let's get some Versamark ink. And we're going to take the leaf image from the Friends of Life stamp set. And I'm going to ink that up really well. Okay. And then I'm going to stamp that over top of my inking and let that really soak into the paper. Okay, I'm going to set that aside. And then I've got the, then I've got the happy birthday. And I actually have that all set up where I want it on my Mini Misty. So I'm going to bring that in, put this in the bottom of my corner, and then I'm going to ink up my happy birthday stamp. Let me move this out so I can move this into the picture for you. And I'm going to ink that up again really well. And I'm going to stamp that down, let that soak into the paper. And with the Versamark ink, you've got a few minutes before it will dry. It's a very sticky ink. Now let's set that out of the way. Bring back in that embossing additions kit and our black ink. And we're going to pour our black ink over our pieces here. And then we're just going to dump that back in. And I don't think I've got enough right there, so we're going to redo that a bit. My happy birthday looks pretty good. Give that a tap and try to get any excess off. I did find with this embossing powder, you don't want to flick too hard because you'll flick the powder right off of there. Okay, there we go. And maybe right here on the tip where I might have touched that accidentally. Now I'm going to take a look at this, and if I've got any parts that look like I've got black where I don't want it, I'm going to very carefully swipe that off. Now this brush is rather large, and I actually have one that I just bought somewhere a long time ago that's a lot smaller that I like to use for getting in close. Okay, so that's what we've got there. Make sure we get all that. I see a couple more specks here and there. Okay, and then we're going to take and heat set this. So I'm going to put the lid on my Versamark so I don't dry out my pad. Heating up my tool, my heat tool. I'm going to take and set that over there for a second. And I'm going to grab this with my reverse tweezers so I don't burn my fingers. I like to heat a little bit from the back. Oh, shoot. Hang on. I just touched that with the heat tool. See if I can fix that quickly before. Okay. All right, so there we go. Don't get too close like I just did. I kind of messed up my image there when I had to redo. So I got a little bit of black specks where I really didn't want it, but it's okay. It'll be fine. It's handmade. Let's just move forward. I'm going to go ahead and dump my, I like to use a coffee filter, and then I can just dump this back in. Looks like I didn't shake that out very well for my white. Got a little bit of white in my black, but it'll be fine. Okay, so we've got this. Now we can go ahead and put our pieces back on here. Lay that out. I'm going to go ahead. I like to take this after it's dried a little, or cooled a bit, and just run my fingers over the slightly warm cardstock and try and flatten that back out as best I can. And then I can put these back down and they won't pop up. So let's put our pieces back where we want them. And then I'm going to go ahead and do that. No, yeah, I'm going to do that and this. Okay, and then we'll put this one up here. Okay, now I'm going to take and use some liquid glue on this. So I'm going to remove one of these, put a little bit of liquid glue, and then I'll just set it down where I want it, like so. Okay, then I'll grab my next piece. I'm using the Tombow liquid adhesive, mono adhesive liquid glue. Just got it in my little glue, precision glue gun. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set that one here. I actually want to do this one first, just so that I can get a better spacing in that center piece. If I put this one down first, and put that down, come on, move on down, you're a little high. And then I can put this one on. Okay, there we go. Then I can easily center it. Okay, so we've got that. And again, I'm going to take the bottom corner so that I can center that other piece between. So there's quite a bit of difference. You almost could cut this card base a little bit shorter. Okay, then we'll just stick that there. So we've got that. All right, so there is most of our card front. Now we're going to take and add this to the basic black. This is a 1/4 inch bigger. So 3.5 by Hello, Lynette. 3.5 by, I forgot what my other one was. This is 3.5 by 4 3/4. And then I'm going to mount that to a piece of 3 3/4 by 5-inch white. Okay. And then finally, we're going to add this to our card base. And this card really is almost done. These are very quick cards, uses up scraps of your designer series paper. Of course, you can move the pieces around, so in that you could put your 4 blank up here, so you could move these down here. Take these and move them right down here, and then you would still have your grid. Flip it a little bit, easy. Okay, so for the inside of this card, I took my envelope and my inside piece, and I used this same stamp again, and I stamped it first in the Shy Shamrock, and then I didn't re-ink, and I just stamped again. Then I cleaned it off, did the Granny Apple Green, stamped over here on my inside piece, cleaned it off, did Daffodil Delight, and then stamped on my inside piece. The sentiment, "May this year be incredible and filled with possibilities," comes from Encircled in Nature, but you could use any birthday sentiment that you have on hand. And then we're just going to add this to the inside of our card. And this one's finished. Oh, no, it isn't. I forgot. We need to put our embellishments on. Good grief. Let's grab those. Well, let's grab them if I have them where I can find them. Did I put those away? No. What did I do with those? Because they're not. Oh, there they are. Here they are right here. They're in the other tub. Okay, these are the iridescent faceted gems, and these are also part of this Full of Life suite of products. I love these little gems. They add so much, and they're not thick, so you're not going to have to worry about extra postage. Just place an extra piece of cardstock over your card, and you'll be ready to go. So I'm going to take a small one. I'm going to put up here, right there in the corner of the yellow. I'm going to take one of the large ones, and I'm going to go in the white here, and then I'm going to take another small one, and I'm going to put it right there. Okay, and there is our card, all ready to go. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope that you can see how that will use up some of your card scraps. It's a very easy way to do so. Okay, so let me pick things up just a bit here. Move these over. Not going to get rid of this in case, because I think we may need it for the next project, depending on what you choose. Okay, so would you like to do another card, or would you like to do the 3D project? You tell me. The 3D project can be used for any occasion. It's a small project that fits 4 Andes creamed mints, depending on how fat the mints are, sometimes only 3. And you could easily use it for the 4th of July, or we could do another card. Tell me what you would like. Go ahead and type that in the comments, and I'll give it a minute to pop up. Whatever we don't do tonight, I'll be showing on Thursday night on my YouTube channel. So let me know. I'll wait just a minute. I've got both ready to go. It's 7:25. Got plenty of time to do either or. Another card, Mary says. Okay. Card, Lynette says. All right, there we are. That's good for me. Let's bring on the second card then. And we will make that. Okay, so for this card, we don't have much for ink. We're using Pretty Peacock and Highland Heather. That's our color palette for this one. For inks, in addition to the Friends for Life, I'm using the Fern 3D embossing folder. It's in our annual catalog. And we've got a card base A2 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4, and I barely scored it. It looks like you can barely see that. Let's get that going here. And I'm going to go ahead and give that a burnish. Okay, so we've got the card base. Then we've got a piece of Misty Moonlight, and this is 3 inches by 4 inches. And I've already run this through the Fern 3D embossing folder. So this is going to go on our card here. I took ahead of time and I cut the, let me grab those dies. I cut the heart die here from the what's it called? Let me see here. Thoughtful Designs paper, and I used this print. This is a specialty paper. It has a little bit of foiling in it, and it's kind of a unique paper in that it's an ombre, and you get 5 sheets. So we're using this one, and then you get this, and this one, and this one. And the colors in this are Cajun Craze, Calypso Coral, Lost Lagoon, Misty Moonlight, Mossy Meadow, Petunia Pop, Pretty Peacock, and Wild Wheat. Okay, so we're using this one that has the Misty Moonlight and Petunia Pop. But as it ombres, it kind of looks a little bit on the Highland Heather side. In addition, we're using from the online exclusives the Berry Burst Old Olive and White Glimmer paper, and we're using the Glimmer. Okay. So what I did was I took these two pieces, they come apart, and I think the best way for you to put these together, I covered it. Of course I buried it. I think the easiest way to do this is to take your two pieces, lay them cut side down on your silicone mat, move them how you want them to go, then take a piece of washi tape, post-it tape, mint tape, and put those together, and then take a 3 by 3 inch piece of the designer series paper and run that through your die cut machine. Now, while you're doing that, go ahead and run a piece of the white glimmer paper as well. No, don't do that. Take that back. Don't do that. That's the hard way. We're not doing that. Okay? Trust me, it doesn't work. But a 3 by 3, if you put this on a 3 by 3 and run it through, it'll work perfectly. Okay, you can see that. But I've already done that for us. So we are going to, this is the easy way to do this. I tried paper piecing today. I spent quite a bit of time trying to make this work so that everything was all paper pieced in and nothing I worked was easy. It took forever and I finally just said, forget it. Let's do the easy button. So the easy button is to take your two pieces. Now when this comes out, it doesn't cut all the way. So you do have to take your paper snips and snip on this just to cut it, okay? And you can see that here. I'll show you, okay? So if you look on my template here, you can see how when you run those two pieces together, you have this tiny little piece that holds it together on that square. Just take your paper snips and snip right next to that and cut that, and then you'll get these two pieces out, okay? So we're going to take these two and we're going to put them on this piece of white glimmer paper. And I just used my fine tip glue bottle. And I'm going with the bigger piece first. Remember, dot, dot, not a lot. You don't need a lot and it'll hold it. I think wet glue is going to be your best bet on this glimmer paper. The glitter does not come off on our paper. You can rub this and you won't get anything off. So you don't have to worry about working with it. It's not actually glitter paper. They call it glimmer. That way the glitter's not coming off. Okay, so then I've just got a few dots here and there, and I don't know if you can tell, but you can barely see that. It's not a lot. And then I'm just going to take and put this on this piece. I want to make sure that I've got room for my outside edge there. And I moved it again where I don't want it. Come on. It's a square. It should work no matter what. Okay, there we go. Now I've got it where I want it. Okay, now I'm just going to take my D block and I'm going to rub that along there just to make sure that gets some good adherence. Okay, now I'm going to pick up, this is not what I want. I want the white piece, and I should have that in my pack. I hope. I've got it in here. Yep, right here. Okay, this is what I want. When you cut it in the glimmer, you'll get two. Okay, but we want the white outline. And you'll see, you're probably thinking, are you crazy? That's not really what you want. But before I do that, I'm going to take my scissors, and I'm not going to use my good Stampin' Up scissors. And I'm just going to fussy cut right along the outside of this heart because I don't want that square. Okay. So I'm just going to go right under that die cut, the outside edge. And I'm going to cut off the excess here. And I'm not going to throw these pieces away because I can cut stars and things out of this using my Forever Forest dies out of these little pieces. So I'm not going to waste it. Okay. All right, so I'm going to keep those for some tiny little things. And then this is what I've got left. Now I cut that. Now I'm going to turn this over. And I'm going to turn over my heart, my outline here. And I'm going to grab my mini dimensionals. And I like to use my tweezers with my mini dimensionals. And I'm just going to lay that up right next to it. And then I'm going to take the flat side of that mini dimensional and I'm going to stick these pieces together. Okay, and this is going to serve me two purposes. It's going to pop up my piece on my card, and it's going to hold these two pieces together. I probably get carried away, but I want to make sure that I've got good adherence, and I want to make sure that my piece does not flop in the center or anything. So you're probably thinking this is overkill on dimensionals, and it may very well be, but I didn't want to take any chances. So I'm just going to put these all together here. Would the sticker sheets work with this die better than, you know, I don't know. I think it would work better maybe on the outside edge, but then you just have all that excess sticker part. Hello, Marilyn Sandels. How are you? Thanks for joining us. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to take some of my bigger dimensionals now, the regular size ones, and I'm going to pop these here so I don't have a saggy middle. And I'm feeling like I need to put a dimensional right there. Now that one almost looks like I might have got it too far to the edge. So I haven't pressed that one real hard. So there we go. Move that back just a touch. Okay, we're good. This piece is now ready to go onto our card. Okay, so we've got that. But before we can do this, we need to add a piece of glimmer paper. Now, I don't like to waste, I don't know about you, but I don't like to waste glimmer paper. So I'm going to take a look at this. This is 3 inches by 4 inches, and I want it to be 5 inches. Okay. So I'm going to take, this is 5 inches. I've got this. I want this to be down here a bit. So I really need about over an inch and a little less than an inch. So I'm actually going to take this and I'm going to cut it. Okay, I'm going to cut that. And then I'm going to cut another piece. I'm going to cut from the bottom because I want to make sure I've got a nice straight edge. And then I have this piece I'm not wasting. Okay, because I don't want to waste it. So I'm going to stick this one up here at the 5-inch mark. And I'm going to come over here. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue here at the bottom. I'm at the 5-inch mark. And I'm going to take this piece. And I want it to be 1/4 of an inch in. So I'm using the grid. And I'm going to put that down. Give that a really good press. This does not want to stick as well on top of that for some reason. Okay, then I'm going to take my bottom piece. And again, I'm going to come in 1/4 of an inch. And I need this to be 5 inches. And I'm going to put some glue here. I'm going to be a little bit generous with my glue here. And I'm also, darn it. Okay, let's put a little bit more glue here. and some glue down here. Okay. This is not wanting to stick so well, but I did make it work. And I actually could probably use some tear and tape here. I've got that. And then I'm going to stick this down here. Right like that. I'm lining that up on my grid so everything's nice and straight. Okay. And I just have to get that to adhere for a minute. Because I'm going to flip this over. And then we're going to stick it. Come on. Cooperate. Okay. I'm going to turn that over. And then I'm going to take this whole piece. Put more glue. It's a little bit fussy. Okay. And then I'm going to put this on my card. Okay. And then I won't have to worry about those pieces. Okay, this one looks like it might not be quite straight, so let's go ahead and make that look straight. And then I'm going to take and open this up. Put a little bit of glue on my... This is the really nice thing about the glass mat. You get a little bit of glue on it, you just take your chamois and it comes right off, no more stickiness. So anybody who doesn't have one of those should get it as soon as you can in July. Okay, so I'm going to open this up. I like to use my bone folder just to make sure that all sticks down. Now I did get a little bit glue on the back, but that's going to come right off. Okay, so there we are. That's where we're at so far. Now we're going to take that leaf stamp that we used earlier. We're going to clean that off because I didn't. And I think those are clean, but we're going to do this anyway. And then we're going to take our Highland Heather stamp pad and our leaf image. And I'm just going to stamp this in Highland Heather on the Highland Heather up there in the top. And then I'm going to take the double heart stamp set, and again in Highland Heather, I'm going to put that down here. Okay? Now, we're done with that. Let's get rid of these so I don't put my fingers in them. And then we're ready to add this. So let's go ahead and pop this on our card, and then we'll finish our stamping. Okay, got that and that. Make sure you get all the backings off. And the way you know is that you've got shiny, sticky, it just looks different. The backing is a little bit dull and the adhesive is a little bit on the shiny, sticky side. So, okay, so now we're just going to take this and we're going to add this to our piece here. Got that a little close to the edge. I haven't pushed down, so I'm good. I want it to hang over the Misty Moonlight just a little, but I need to keep it within the confines of my card. So we've got that. Now we need to do a little bit of stamping, and then we'll be done. Stamping and die cutting. So I've got a piece here. I'm going to stamp Miss You on that, and then this is a rather large scrap we're going to cut down here in a minute. So I'm going to take the Miss You, and before I stamp, I'm going to take my blending brush, which I had just a second ago. Okay, I'm going to take my blending brush, and you all know I like to do this with my glass mat. Take my blending brush, and I'm just going to put a little bit, very light, Pretty Peacock. Okay, I don't want it to be real dark. I just want it to be light, like so. Okay. And off that goes. Okay. Then I'm going to take my Pretty Peacock ink, and we're going to take Miss You. This is also from that stamp set. And I'm going to put this over here a bit and up, because we're going to cut this out, and hopefully this works the way I need it to. Otherwise, we're going to cut a piece and then I'll do it again. But hopefully that'll work. It worked for me earlier today. So we're going to try that again. Okay, so now I'm going to take the Big Friend stamp. And again, I'm going to ink that up in Pretty Peacock ink. And I'm going to stamp that down on a scrap piece of white cardstock. Make sure that soaks into the paper. Beautiful. Cap my fine tip glue pen. Okay, so that is all of our stamping. So I'm going to put that away. I'm going to go ahead and trim this up real quick, because I want to get this all in the mini. So I'm just going to take and chop this right here, because that piece of white won't fit through the mini. And if I do this, I should be able to do both of them. So let's bring in our mini cut and emboss machine. Let's set this on here and see if it'll grip good. Well, it grips right on here. I don't need to do that. I forget. I've got the glass mat down. Okay. So for the Miss You, we're going to take this paint thing, and I'm going to put this, just going to lay it over the top. You bring this in, get that stuff out of the way so you can see better. I'm just going to lay this right here. There is a hole right here where you can kind of see. And I want to bring this about right here. And then I'm going to tape that down. Okay. Got that. Hopefully this is not, nope, it's going to be too wide. It's not going to work because I don't have, my piece is too wide. So then I'm just going to run this through. This is how I did it earlier. So hopefully it works again. Okay. And then when I pop that out, it didn't work quite as good as I would have hoped. Okay, hang on. Let's do it the right way. Let's do it the way we should do it. By just putting down a scrap piece of white and cutting this first. And then we'll stamp that in a minute. Okay. Because that's the smart way to do it. Really. So now I'm going to take my friend, and I'm going to take, there's a die for that. And we're just going to pop this in here. And cut this out. Again, a little piece of Post-it tape. Run that through. now this is ready to go. Okay, we can set those aside. We don't need them again. Pull that off. Here's our word friend. Put this back on our die sheet. We're going to grab this piece. Get that out of the die. I'm going to use what I've got left for ink in my brush. Okay. And then we'll take the Miss You and straighten that out a bit and stamp that right in the middle. Okay, much better. Okay, so now we've got all of our pieces and we're ready to finish up this card. So let's bring back in our card base. Let's make sure we're not getting any ink that we don't want on there. I love how this glass mat cleans up so easily. Okay, so now I'm going to take the friend word and I'm going to take my mini dimensionals and this is going to go here. That little Chad just wants to hang there. Okay, so this is about how I'm going to want this. So I'm not going to put dimensionals here and here. I am going to take some mini dimensionals and I'm going to cut those in half. Okay. And then I'm going to put one here. I can put a whole one. Nope, that's going to go there. I can put a whole one on the R. One here. I need that half a one on the D. The bottom of the D. I can also put a dimensional right here. You guys, if you know me, you know I over dimensionalize. It's okay. I just don't like anything to sag. I think that let's see. Yep, I don't want anything there either. I mostly just want it on this bottom section here. Okay, and then I'm going to put another one right here. And right there. Okay. I'm going to give those a good press so they'll stick. And then I'm going to use my tweezers to take off those little pieces. Sometimes you can use take your pick tool and poke those and get them off. I prefer the tweezers myself. Okay, so there we are. We've got that. Now we'll bring this in and straighten it up. And there we are. We've got friend. Now we're going to take our Miss You. And I'm going to put this over here like this. I'm going to chop that off straight. So let's just put this in here. Doesn't matter if it's perfect because this is not a straight piece in the first place. Okay, let's see how that looks. No, I gotta go shorter. I gotta go shorter. There we go. Now let's take our dimensionals. This will take the big ones if you put the flat sides at the bottom. All right, and then you can put this right here. And you've got Miss You Friend. And then we're going to grab those same jewels, the iridescent faceted gems. And here's my take your pick tool. And I'm going to take a large one and I'll put one here. I'll put a smaller one here and then one over here. Okay, so there's the front of our card. And for the inside of our card, I took a piece of 3 5/8 by 4 7/8 cardstock. I stamped the leaf. I inked up my leaf in Pretty Peacock, and then I stamped it off, and then I stamped it on the card. And I cut a piece of that paint strip in Pretty Peacock, and I put it at the bottom. And then we're just going to add this in here. And there is our card. Okay, so let's bring back in our first card and we'll see those. Okay, so we've got those two. Now, I wanted to show you, I did earlier another card using this layout and that other piece of the DSP, and this is what I came up with for that one. So I thought this one was a little bit more feminine, this one a little bit more masculine, but both are pretty. And then for my card I just made, my original card looks like this. Okay, I used a mossy meadow for my embossed piece, and then this is that same piece of DSP, just in that a different section, so it's a little more ombre, and this is a little more the petunia pop, so I used the petunia pop with the misty moonlight and then threw in the mossy meadow. Okay, yes, Mary, that's exactly what I did. I used misty moonlight here, and then Pretty Peacock is the ink. Okay, and I'm so glad. Oh, thanks, Marilyn. I am well. I hope you are too. All right. If you don't have any questions, I will not be live on Thursday. I will be at an 8th grade promotion celebration, an 8th grade celebration thing for my granddaughter at the casino in Grand Ronde, so I won't be home to do that during that time. So I will post a video though, so you won't have to, you'll have something to watch at 7 p.m. It'll go live. And then I'll see you back here next Tuesday night at 7 p.m. for another tutorial with 2 projects. Thank you so much. Good night.